And seal through silver, coming for you. Con gameplay, storie e review, la noia non c'è più. Dai, tuffati anche tu nel mondo di Sion.
Your father and I have spoken about your fiancé, Mary. We believe he'll be an honorable husband for you. We'll set a date for the marriage then. That way, I'm sure one of my children will give me grandchildren. I understand your thirst for knowledge, Jonathan, and your father and I are proud of it. But you are not that young anymore, my son. When will I meet your soulmate? You can ascribe my romantic tendencies to my French origins if you want, Aubrey. But I'll never cease to believe in a match made in heaven, my beloved.
I really wish you could meet her, mother. You would love her.
Allora ragazzi, salve a tutti, abbiamo un nuovo indizio su J.Reid, parla spesso ai morti, incluso suo figlio. Quindi non so se possiamo usare questo indizio con nostra madre. Come vedete potevamo seguirla e osservarla. Proviamo a parlarle adesso in questo nuovo inizio di nuovo episodio di Vampyr. Guardo la famiglia. Davvero vedi la nostra famiglia?
Do you really see Mary and father? Do you also see me as one of the dead?
Yes. For many years it was just a game. Since your father left us without a word, I took to the habit of speaking to him.
Yes, I remember. I sometimes spied on you and listened to you talking with father in the garden. It made me so angry then. But it was just a game, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But since then, my poor dead Mary visited me in my room. She led me to her grave, and there you were. I now know the dead can haunt us.
Non si meritava questo.
I'm so sorry. You did not deserve to endure this. Mary should never have done this to you.
That's true, my son. But you know what the worst part is? I liked it when Mary spoke in my head. Now she is silent, and it makes me so sad.
Vuoi che ti lasci
Should
sola?
I leave you alone? Just ask, and I swear you'll never hear from me again.
Oh no, Johnny. You're always welcome in this house. And one day, when I finally die, we'll all be together again. Just as Mary promised us.
Ok ragazzi.
Goodbye, mother. Try to rest now.
Goodbye, son. Please come back soon.
Allora non ci resta altro che andare in strada e indagare su tutto quello che riguarda questo nuovo quartiere in cui siamo finiti. Allora, vediamo. Sconosciuto, Charlotte Ashbury, ragazzi. Charlotte, lei.
Good evening, miss.
Oh my God, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reid. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young econs. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
Allora, check-up medico va bene. La fascinazione è molto potente, lei. La sua vita a Londra. Mi parli del quartiere.
What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Sì, sono nato qui.
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reid?
Qualcosa la
Is there
turba?
something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
Che fa qui?
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
È una suffragetta?
Are you a suffragette, then? Oh, you really are Elisabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
Come reagiscono le
How are the
persone?
locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reid. And please, don't tell my mother.
Nuova indagine, ragazzi. Emily è dispersa. Individua a casa di Emily. Ok, abbiamo traccato la nostra, come si chiama, prima indagine della zona. Riguardo alla sua adozione, vi ho detto che era
Tell me about
adottata.
your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Chi sono i suoi veri
Who are
genitori?
your real parents?
Elisabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see? And one day, I'll have my death to face.
Come ha conosciuto Lady Ashbury? Vabbè, domanda un po' stupida perché alla fine è
How
adottata.
did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked?
Attenzione! È cresciuta nell'orfanotrofio di Lady Ashbury prima di venire adottata dalla Lady stessa.
The correct word is Econ, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
Cosa sa di me?
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reid? Or you?
Allora, nuovo indizio disponibile. Charlotte sa molte cose sui vampiri e sembra non temerli. Forse.
Perhaps it's wise for a mortal never to totally trust a vampire. Your mother herself told me that we Ekon are creatures of deception. Maybe it's because we seem so alive.
That may be true for a naive girl, but I have the best teacher when it comes to getting rid of an insistent immortal.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reid.
Domande personali. Allora, perché ha Lady Ashbury l'ha adottata?
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Riguardo al rifiuto di sua madre di trasformarla.
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire. Tell me more about it.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
Non si fida di lei?
Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I. She is wise, and we should not ignore her advice when we disagree with it.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with eternity.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you?
No. Whoever I was when I was born, I am now Charlotte Ashbury. It hurts as much as it makes me proud to know that's the name my mother will read on my tombstone.
Perché vuoi diventare un vampiro?
Why do you still hope to become a vampire in spite of your mother's refusal?
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of that.
You're obviously a clever woman.
Nuovo indizio. Allora, Charlotte spera che diventare immortale aiuti a portare avanti la sua lotta contro l'ineguaglianza in modo più efficace.
With a good education and a brilliant future. But have you thought about the price you'd have to pay? The loneliness, the necessary masquerade.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one's side.
Qual è il suo piano per ottenere la vita eterna?
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life, since you've obviously given it a lot of thought?
I won't give up. You have no idea how determined I am, sir. I may contract a deadly disease. I may throw myself under a carriage, just to be saved by her sweet kiss.
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part of it is, I know you speak the truth.
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself into your arms.
Faccia attenzione.
Be careful what you wish for, young lady. I could gaze at you right now and then take you to a shady corner and have my way with you. And leave your carcass to the rats.
You wouldn't dare. My mother would know. She'd never forgive you.
How could she suspect me? Do you know how many vampires are lurking in the city tonight as we speak? Vampires with a worse sense of humor than mine.
Oh, my God. For one second I thought you actually... Excellent, Dr. Reid. Very convincing.
Comunque ragazzi, non la
Goodbye,
abbracceremo,
Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Perché giocando di ruolo abbiamo deciso di non mordere nessun essere umano, vi ricordo, e di non nutrirci della carne di nessun essere umano. Questo qui è un mercante.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reid.
Welcome, Dr. Reid. Welcome to my humble shop.
Allora, check-up medico, sta bene. La sua vita a Londra. Mi parli del
How is the
quartiere.
situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
Non sia ingenuo.
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Allora, abbiamo un primo indizio. Allora, Calhoun Russell non considera la gravità e la pericolosità dell'epidemia. Questo è il primo che schiatta, eh? Allora, ha delle informazioni interessanti sul posto?
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Il cibo è tutto ciò che gli interessa.
Finding a good restaurant. Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Ok, nuovo indizio. Piacciono i ristoranti rinomati e le tavole imbandite. Io ho dei gusti molto
I must
particolari.
confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Non mancherò sicuramente, signor Russell. È troppo tardi per parlare di affari?
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
Quindi preferisce vivere la notte?
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Allora, non è
But what
pericoloso?
about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
Personaggio strambo. Domande impersonali. Ora, la sua famiglia vive qui
Do you
vicino?
have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
Il burgustaio solitario di Londra?
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Si sente solo?
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Allora, vediamo le domande personali. Non possiamo usare nessun indizio. Vediamo
I
cosa è
may
in
have a look at
vendita.
your goods, Mr. Russell.
Finalmente, ragazzi, ci sono le parti di arma che mi servono. Quindi, allora, piccole parti in impugnatura multipla, ne compreremo tutte e due. Poi compra multipli dell'impugnatura buona, ne ha solamente due. E il grilletto buono, compriamone multipli tutti e due. Perfetto. Qua oggi si è fatto affari, Allora, devo ricordarmi di vendere anche, ma così non è. Dunque, Charlotte Ashpur, uno sconosciuto. Ragazzi, episodio politico dove andremo a conoscere i vari personaggi.
May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
Allora, ha un check-up medico che non va bene, quindi...
medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
Diamo la
What can
medicina.
I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
Come sta tua moglie?
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. So many things have happened.
Ci sono problemi in
Is
casa?
everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
Allora, Venus Crossley è la moglie, è preoccupata per la reputazione della famiglia. Dobbiamo capire perché. Eccola qui. Ma sei vivo?
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Indizi richiesti. Vita a Londra. Quando sei tornato a
When did you
Londra?
escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
Qual è questa nuova battaglia di cui mi
What is
parli?
this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
Neanche io ci penso.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
Allora, vediamo. La vita a Londra abbiamo chiesto tutto.
You need some
Salutiamo.
rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Tanto l'abbiamo curato, Clarence. Allora, abbiamo conosciuto 3 persone nuove del quartiere. Di là andiamo per, come vedete, cercare a casa di Emily che è dispersa, ma siamo proprio davanti al club Ascalon, quindi entriamo. Ok, prendiamoci il caricamento, ragazzi. E dicevamo, vediamo chi sono le persone che incontreremo e conosceremo qua dentro. Ecco qua. Stato del quartiere stabile.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
The Ascalon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reid. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
C'è gente morta a terra o vampiri. Questa persona...
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reid.
C'è stata una battaglia di recente, eh?
There has been quite a battle here.
Infatti l'abbiamo notato anche noi, Johnny.
I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Sì, decisamente. Allora, signori, io sono abbastanza titubante nell'avanzare e come vedete, ecco.
Good evening.
My good friends, if I may have your attention, behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reid, newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bancher was no match for him.
Here, here, here.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reid. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reid.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
È una mia cara amica.
She's a close friend, and I'm honored that she feels the same about me.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Allora, perché io?
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Ascalon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End? Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reid, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon, who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
Allora, non parli della mia famiglia.
How dare you speak so flippantly of my family?
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reid. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Ho alcune domande da fare prima.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
Cosa comporta la missione?
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Avete un riconoscimento ufficiale?
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Devo obbedire?
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
Qual è l'intento del club?
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
Cosa significa Ascalon?
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
Fu William Marshall a sfondare il club?
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
Ha ucciso uno dei vostri.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
Ragazzi, dobbiamo consentire per forza per andare avanti nella questline.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country. My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Econ as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reid, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Econ, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation. Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reid. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
Quindi ragazzi, dovremo parlare con Lord Redgrave come prossimo obiettivo, ma lo facciamo nel prossimo episodio, signori, perché come vedete ho registrato veramente tanto, oltre sempre il consentito, e noi ci vediamo come sempre al prossimo episodio. Lasciate like se questo episodio ovviamente vi è piaciuto, iscrivetevi al canale per sapere quando metto online un nuovo episodio di appunto Vampyr, e che dire, ciao ciao a tutti e ovviamente grazie di aver visto questo ennesimo episodio di questa saga.